Which one of his children did Zeus hate the most? If your answer is Kratos, you're only half wrong, because while Kratos is not actually a son of Zeus in Greek mythology, a part of Kratos' inspiration comes from the actual god of war and son of Zeus, Ares. And Zeus hated Ares, like damn, bro hated Ares so much he created a second god of war, Athena, just so Ares loses his job. Bro hated Ares so much that he gave birth to Athena by himself by giving birth to her from his head and having someone split his skull open to deliver her. I said having someone split his skull open to deliver her from. You get me, bruv? Do you understand how much you have to hate someone to want to birth a baby from your cracked skull just to replace the person you hate? Ares is the Joffrey of Greek mythology for real.
He's a monster.
Humans hated him for constantly causing wars and never picking a side so that the bloodshed continues forever, and the gods hated him because even for them, Ares' obsession with bloodshed and slaughter was a bit worrying. Which is wild, considering that every Greek god is a selfish sociopath who kidnaps before breakfast, abuses by lunch, and has caught a few bodies by dinner. It's kinda like how even a vicious monster like Circe was scared of the even more vicious Joffrey.
The things he did shocked me.
And that violence boner of Ares is what we will unravel in this episode. Note that there are some extra facts about Ares that don't really fit the flow of my storytelling, but for completion's sakes, I included them at the end of the video. Watch until then to get everything there is to know about Ares. When Ares was born, Hera had an entirely different life planned for her boy. He was the son of Zeus, and Hera, after all, the supreme god and goddess, so Hera fully expected him to be Zeus' successor. But King Sparkles despised Ares for his graceless obsession with violence and favored his daughter Athena and named her the true god of war, the goddess of strategic warfare. That was echoed in the Greek people, especially the Athenians, who favored wisdom in all things, including war. Mindless warfare for the sake of bloodshed was considered despicable, so Athena's wisdom in military matters was worshipped, while Ares' pedestrian, barbaric ways were despised. I mean, even the Spartans, these guys.
This is Sparta!
Even the Spartans worshipped Athena and not Ares. And if it wasn't for Hera's love for her son, Ares probably would not have been made one of the 12 Olympians. Papa Zeus knew Ares belonged to the streets and basically constantly ignored his son, which kind of makes Ares' story a sad one, now that I think about it. It's like he's a boy that just wanted some recognition and love from his father, but all he got was hatred. So he himself turned to hatred and lashed out with episodes of violence because that was the only way he could elicit a reaction out of his father and get Zeus to pay attention to him. Damn. But man, Ares loved violence something different, man. Death meant so much to him that he even went out of his way to free the god of death, Thanatos, from imprisonment so that people would keep dying. You see, when Thanatos came to rightfully claim the soul of a dying king, King Sisyphus, Sisyphus tricked the god of death and chained Thanatos up to escape his fate. While Thanatos was chained up, no one in the world was dying, and war kind of lost its flavor for Ares. So he freed Thanatos to get his favorite hobby back on track, death. Ares loved war and death so much that he even named his sons Phobos and Deimos, which translates to them being the literal gods of fear and terror. When I tell you man's was about that life, you get me, bruv. War was Ares' identity. So it was a problem for Ares that his sister Athena was stealing all this thunder with her vanilla strategic warfare crap that was all the rave back in the day. So the two siblings became rivals that eventually clashed during the Trojan War. Ares supported the Trojans during the war for many reasons, but partly to simply oppose his sister Athena. But every time the two clashed, Athena defeated Ares. One time, she knocked him out with a rock, and another time, she just flat out embarrassed the dude. When Ares fought with the hero Diomedes, Athena blessed Diomedes and guided his spear to wound Ares. Now that's a mortal hero wounding a god. That's about as embarrassing as it gets. So Ares went to his dad Zeus to complain, but of course, Zeus ignored his son. Yeah, I'm kind of torn now between feeling bad for Ares and just thinking he's a horrible god. But damn, Zeus, that's that monster you created, for real. Ares has only two positive qualities, were his love for his children, who he always avenged and protected, and his love for Aphrodite. But even in those stories, he wasn't exactly the hero of his own tale. An example of Ares protecting his children is the story of Ares' son, Kynos, who murdered pilgrims on their way to the oracle at Delphi because the dude inherited all his father's best qualities. In a messed up type of way though, it's kind of cute because Kynos killed those people to build a temple for his father made out of bones. I mean, I'm just saying, what did you build for your father lately? Man's gonna have me collecting chicken bones or something, build a Lego town for my dad, I don't know. Problem was that the oracle of Delphi was holy to the god Apollo. So Apollo sent Hercules, aka Heracles, to deal with Kynos. The thing is, when you send Heracles to deal with someone, it means Heracles will kill someone. So Heracles killed Kynos. Ares was mad, understandably. Heracles killed his son. So he challenged Heracles to a fight to avenge his dead son. But guess who intervened to help out Heracles and spite Ares one more time? I mean, you literally only need one guess to get it right, so y'all say it with me. Athena. Athena blessed Heracles with protection, and Heracles absolutely laid the smackdown on Ares. So yeah, that didn't end well for the god of war either. But at least Ares always had Aphrodite's arms to find comfort in. The two loved each other with passion ever since they first locked eyes. Both beings of pure passion, you know? One for warfare, one for love. Both different but burning passion at the core nonetheless. They were pure masculinity and pure femininity, perfect for each other and truly loved each other. But even here, Ares would get the short end of the stick. Even though him and Aphrodite were already a thing, Ares' loving father Zeus married Aphrodite to Hephaestus against her will. It's starting to become clear that Zeus is really the Dr. Frankenstein here and Ares is a victim. A monster, yes, but a monster born out of the hatred his father had for him or just the lack of any feelings or emotions Zeus had for the son he despised. I'm kind of sorry for Ares. Because now the only good thing Ares had, the love of his life, was married to his brother Hephaestus. And while him and Aphrodite were still getting it on, sleeping with his brother's wife didn't exactly make him more popular amongst the other Greek gods. So Ares' fate truly was to be the hated one, the outcast. And he took all his suffering out on all of us humans, finding pleasure in the suffering that his warfare causes us. And to this day, we suffer in the wars that are the result of Ares' pain. Time for the extra notes. It might surprise you that the Spartans don't worship Ares. And if you Google the topic, you'll notice that there's a common modern misconception that the Spartans worshipped Ares. They didn't. Even though they were about that life and famed warriors, they didn't have any more love for the barbaric warfare Ares represented. They worshipped Athena in all things war-related and also had a major love fetish for Apollo. There was, however, one society that highly worshipped Ares, though under a completely different name. To the Romans, Ares was known as Mars, and they held him in high regard. In a way, what Athena was to the Greeks, Mars was to the Romans. So if you were feeling sorry for Ares, you can find solace in the fact that one of history's greatest empires worshipped him as one of their prime gods. They literally considered him the father of Romulus and Remus, the founding fathers of Rome, and considered Mars to be the patron of the Roman capital. And in the Roman mythology, Mars raped the Vestal virgin Rhea Silvia to make her decidedly less virgin, and that's how Romulus and Remus were born, because just when you thought you felt good about this version of Ares, that happens. That whole thing where Thanatos is chained up by Sisyphus and Ares had to rescue him so people would die again, that's actually the reason why Sisyphus was later punished with the infamous Sisyphus task, which I'll definitely do a more detailed video on one day. And this note is very interesting. Ares is always depicted as the bad guy or loser in Greek mythology tales, but That was ironically down to the fact that he was so obviously powerful as the son of Zeus and Hera that it turned him into the obstacle that heroes often overcame to prove how powerful they are. It was an easy way for writers and storytellers at the time to highlight the might of their hero, who defeats the mighty evil god of war, son of Zeus, an obstacle that was meant to be impossible to overcome. Fun fact about the story where Heracles whoops Ares: they are related here. Heracles is Ares' half-brother, so Ares' son Kynos, who Heracles killed and Ares avenged, was Heracles' nephew. Man, the Greek gods' family gatherings must be something else. Also, there's a lot more to Ares and Aphrodite, because this is the most epically toxic relationship ever. Just burning with passion, cheating, death. She's even the reason the Trojan War kind of started and why Ares fights on the side of the Trojans. And there's a reason that Ares and Aphrodite are basically Mars and Venus. There's a lot more to unravel in that love story, but I will do that in a dedicated Aphrodite video that will feature that love story heavily.